troll. The weirdest, the rowdiest little creature of them all.
Troll 2 and Troll are not the same. They're not.
Yeah, they're almost like in different galaxies.
Correct. Also, they're not even trolls. They're goblins. So
Right.
Guys, welcome to another episode of
Katie Afraidy on the Fangoria Network.
I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach, and if you're wondering who I'm talking to, though,
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? It's a ghost. It's the ghost, but
It
it's
is.
not a ghost. It's a very real human.
Very
He's
real.
amazing and hilarious and wonderful.
The human part.
The human part,
but very
that's
real.
debatable. It's Mike Black.
Hi, everyone out there in America.
In America.
In the
Yes,
world. In the whole world.
In the world.
I don't want to limit it to just in
Yeah.
the universe, because they had that test,
Aliens.
that testify. They had the testimony about the guy who was like, yeah, there's totally aliens, and,
Oh, 100%.
and we caught a couple of them.
And everyone's like, we're so depressed, we don't care.
Yeah. I was like,
Understandable.
yeah, I took that news surprisingly well.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool. That's chill. That's fine.
Clearly they're crashing, so they're not that big of a threat.
Yeah, and-
they're,
And apparently they're shy aliens.
Yeah.
So I get it. I mean, I'm shy. We're all shy sometimes.
I get being in the back of the party.
Yeah.
Just sipping lemonade, just watching everyone else for a while before you start interacting.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll leave a party before that part happens. I'll
Yeah,
just be
you're like, it's
I'm
time
good.
for me to leave.
I didn't realize you were all douches. I'm going to back
yeah,
out now.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's how they're feeling about us right now.
Oh, 100%. They're like, I don't know if I want to. Do I really want to jump in there? They seem like they got a lot of other issues going on.
yeah.
We're just going to go kick
There's
over a
so
planet.
much rest of the galaxy to check out,
I think we're fine. I think we're okay.
I wonder what the other tourist attract, like the world's biggest ball of twine, like what's the galactic version of that's out there that they're like, let's skip Earth and go to that.
Yeah, but I feel like Earth would be one of those like white trash places
Yeah.
where you're like, we gotta go. It's not because we actually like it. It's just because like,
It'll be fun to get a picture there.
yeah, it'll be fun for like the
Isn't
media.
it crazy that we're on
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Earth? Like that sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So I hear you're a horror fan.
I am a horror fan. Very, like, I don't think I'm much of a mainstream horror fan. I like a lot of that stuff, but I really like guilty pleasure stuff and stuff that's off to the side, or things that like friends recommend to me and that sort of thing. Oh, and before we keep going,
Yeah.
I just got back from San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh yes.
And they always have like crazy exclusives there and stuff like that. And since this is either like maybe your last episode or your inaugural episode, I brought you back a horror theme thing. Even the bag is kind of horror themed.
Oh my gosh. It's an unboxing.
So yeah, this
Wait,
is
this is so cool.
the NECA glow in the dark limited edition Creature from the Black Lagoon figure. And it's based on the old Remco figures from the 80s that glue in the dark like that.
That's so cool.
And he can like move around and stuff like that. And obviously he's going to look killer under a black light. So that's your little memento from Comic-Con.
I am honored. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
And the bag is as nerdy as it gets. It's
Dungeons
a
and
Dungeons and Dragons.
From the movie. Wait, right? Is it from the movie or is it just
No,
in
I think
general?
it's some new game that's very monster
Okay.
themed. There's cool artwork on the back and stuff.
I
and,
feel like I have so many things in my hands. Hold on.
Yeah, I gave you a lot to deal
Here we
with.
go. Here's this.
Now you're doing prop
There
comedy,
we
whether
go.
you like it or not.
I only do prop comedy. I don't do well. Yay, that's so awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
That's amazing. We will definitely add that to wherever. And what again, who knows what's happening by the time this
Yeah.
episode comes out. We might be recording in my house. We might be still here.
Yeah,
Who
so
knows?
maybe he's the start of a whole new set for you
Yeah.
guys,
It'll be a new journey by the time this episode is out. And it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. That's amazing. And you had a lot of fun at Comic-Con.
I did. It was crazy hot outside, but
Yeah.
really nice and cool inside. And so it was kind of fun watching like cosplayers just dealing with all of that, of like bringing bags of armor and,
Oh my
crazy
God.
makeup and stuff like that. And then watching them assemble all that stuff and like
Yeah.
turn into these different creatures and everything.
It's
like
crazy.
there was a guy we were talking about Thanos before we started recording. There was a guy who dressed up as Thanos.
It's gotta be warm.
That looked real. Like he looked like the CGI character.
That's cool.
And he was just out in front of Old Spaghetti Factory taking pictures with people.
Just hanging out. Yeah. I love it. Oh my God. That's amazing.
It was a blast.
That's amazing. You know what else is a blast?
I don't.
The movie that you were like, hey, we should. You gave me a handful of movies,
Yeah.
but instantly I saw this one, and I was like, well, I've seen the sequel. It's one of my favorite movies, but it's
also
not
one of the worst movies of all time.
correct. Well, that's debatable with this movie. It's Troll, 1986.
Yeah, this
Oh my
one
God.
not as bad as the sequel, but
Debatable for me because I'm a big fan of Troll 2.
okay,
Big
so
fan.
yeah.
But Troll 2 and Troll are not the same. They're not.
Yeah, they're almost like in different galaxies.
Correct. Also, they're not even trolls. They're goblins. So
right. That's a very good distinction
obvious
to make. Yeah.
They're different. This movie was terrifying in like the weird, like
Yeah.
especially. I think it's when they have practical monster effects.
Yeah.
And the troll himself was it Torok,
Yeah, Turok.
the little troll man.
Yeah.
He was because it's just like it's like a troll, but then he has
very
human
real.
eyes.
Yeah.
And he just.
Very real, very humanized, played by the same guy who played the professor in the movie.
See, I figured, but I didn't want to assume because he
Right.
is a
Little person, yeah.
and I didn't want to assume.
And the
but-
movie had some kind of cool messages about that, about like don't assume little people are magical and elves and what have you. And he was a really good actor, I
Oh,
thought.
he was fantastic.
And the troll itself, there was a familiarity there where, like, as I was watching him do stuff, I was like, I've met that guy. Not a troll, of course,
Yeah.
but like I've met people that are like that excited about being shitty.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like that was totally his
Like,
vibe.
yeah,
was
why
like,
not?
yeah, I'm gonna do an evil thing, and
Yeah,
you're
why
gonna
not?
just
Yeah.
suck it, you know. And that was totally his vibe, and he just really like that creeps me out.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, more than like aliens or killer robots or what have you, are people that really don't give a shit. Like we all say we don't give a shit,
Yeah.
but the people
like,
that
who
really
don't,
don't
those are terrifying.
are
people.
terrifying.
Those are psychopaths.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this
And-
troll was one.
Yeah, he was such a psych. But in a weird way, he was kind of good too, because like
Yeah.
he, with the English professor who was like, you know, I don't really want to live in this world. He got really protective of him really
Like,
quickly.
Well, he thought he was an elf. He's like, or no,
Yeah.
he's like, are you a fairy? Are you an elf? He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm just human. He's like, you were in the circus. You're so different.
Yeah.
You know, and he's that scene where so the little girl, she gets like, would you
Possessed?
say possessed in a way by
Sorta.
the troll? Which I initially watching this, I was like, okay, she's got a bouncy ball and she's going into the basement.
Right.
Red flags.
Big
right
trope.
there.
Big
no-nos. Bouncy balls.
Yeah.
Basements. No. But then I realized that it was an apartment, so it was a laundry room, and I was like, even worse.
Yeah.
I was like, if
it's
you
not
were a
even your
troll-
basement. It's a communal basement.
Yeah,
now.
that's even worse. But like,
Yeah.
if you were a troll, why would you pick a laundry room in an apartment?
Yeah.
And of all the apartments, why? Oh, I mean, because I guess the
Yeah.
woman, we find out that she was Torok was her mentor / lover.
Yeah. It was a very deep history
Very
that
deep
went on there.
history, and I was like, "Whoa, there's a lot more to this movie than I thought."
I was like, did he give her the talking dick plant, or did someone else?
yeah,
like,
who gave her the little shroom plant? That
what wizard decided to court her with that?
she's like, "This is a good idea." Yeah. She's like, "Thank you so much. I love it."
Oh, I love it. I'll just put it.
I'm just gonna put it
way
right
over here.
Lampshade on it. I don't want that. Yeah. Terrifying. And then overtakes her, but she becomes. Initially, she's like, "Oh, I'm the same. I'm a little bit more devious." But all
Right.
like a switch flips as soon as she has the works in her sandwich or in her burger, and just.
She's
like
triggered.
works,
Yeah.
and then she just starts like growling, crawling on all fours, just running amok.
Also,
It's
that
amazing.
sandwich was one of the most terrifying things ever put on film.
Oh, it looks disgusting.
Like I think they left a burger out for a couple of days, and like added a little like makeup flavor to it or something.
Yeah.
But it looked awful. I remember, I'm going to date myself quite a bit here. I saw this movie in the theater
Okay.
when I was 11.
Okay.
And at that time, I was such a lunatic little kid that I saw that hamburger and thought, oh, I really want a hamburger right now. Seeing it as an adult, I was like, I may never eat a hamburger again.
Like,
that thing is disgusting, you know?
There's a reason why I ask for a plain burger.
Right,
And it's
yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, I am wearing a bucket hat
Ooh.
because the dad wears a bucket hat in the beginning of the film, but
Yeah.
it's just gently set on his head like this. And I just
Like an old fisherman.
it's just like, just put it down, just push it down just a little bit, just push. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Hey, just push it down just a hair. Just
there were a lot of issues with Dad. His
Dad-
hat was like the least of them for me.
Yeah, and the wife's like, you have 3,000 vinyls. I'm like, first of all, where are these 3,000? Because
Yeah.
I'm seeing 2 boxes.
Right, yeah.
So chill out.
He's not going to be DJing anywhere
he's
anytime
fine.
soon.
But also I love when he just started jamming out and had a full like dance party.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm dancing like no one's watching, and his wife's like,
He really was too. Like I felt like the director should have told him, like, you might want to learn some moves before we film you forever.
you're terrible. This is bad. This is really bad.
It reminded me of Talking Heads, that video where the
Yes.
guys dance. I was like, yeah, you're doing your own thing. I've
You're
never
vibing.
seen. And that guy was on one of the detective shows, one of the like
Is it CSI?
CSI,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
forever. Michael Moriarty. But the whole cast, like June Lockhart, the
Yeah.
old witch,
Yeah.
she was the mom on Leave It to Beaver.
Oh my god! And her daughter played
The younger
version
her.
of her, which is so
Yeah.
cool. I didn't realize. I was like reading fun facts. I was like,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Because it was like, for a B movie, they made an effort. It wasn't like, they say no one tries to make a bad movie, but a lot of people try to make cheap movies.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And this one, it was like, they really kind of swung for the fences on like, let's try and make this as good as we can
Yeah.
within the constraints that we have.
They
Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her husband,
which that was her first role ever,
really.
and she's still to this day like kind of mortified by it. And I was like, I mean, you should be, but it's also
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to come from somewhere, and it's like, this is your start. That's hilarious. And also, if you're like, yep, I make fun of it, it's a terrible movie, you should go watch it. Why
Yeah,
not?
it totally. And her husband, who is her real husband, they were both on SNL together. I was like, that's so. Do they just do everything together? That's amazing,
Not. It's
Yeah.
true love. It's true love. So if you were a troll, where would you live? Like, what would be
Like
your,
which apartment?
which apartment would
Yeah.
you live in?
I would want like something by the rooftop.
Okay.
Like I would want to be some sort of winged type troll.
Okay.
So that like you can live in your apartment, but then like maybe go to Jersey every now and again
Yeah.
or something. Like
Yeah.
you can fly out and have fun and
Okay.
because I think if you're a basement troll, you're a basement troll, and you're
you don't live.
just
You don't
stuck
live.
in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not living; you're just surviving.
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of the rent situation at a lot of places where I was like, I don't want to just live to pay rent. I'd want to go out and explore the city as much as I could. How about you?
I think, well, not in the actual apartment, but I think I would live under a bridge.
Traditional.
Traditional. I think
You
traditional.
go you're
I think I would
traditionalist troll.
pop out like, you have to, in order to pass, you have to, answer these 3 riddles.
Would you do your riddles like open mic style? Like
Yes.
these are a few riddles I'm working out.
I'm working on these. Can you tell me if they're good?
Yeah.
You can
If you solve them right away, I'll
If you
just
solve
cross them
that's
off.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, just clearly they're not the ones we want to keep.
Yeah. But then if you don't laugh at them, if you don't solve them, like
Yeah.
they kill you.
Right.
But like if you laugh, you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
I would take a few things. I would take laughter. I would take presence.
Oh, yes.
I would be a very corrupt,
Treats, I'd be like treat.
very corrupt
yeah.
sort of troll.
Yeah.
you
like,
know,
oh, you bring,
offerings.
offerings.
Pizza.
Pizza,
You
burgers, the good ones.
not
only
not
the
rat
good.
burgers.
No rat burgers. Which that's.
That name is so
makes
unfortunate. I could see a kid naming a thing that, but even as a kid, when I saw this, I was like, oh fuck, like
you're like,
that's way too hardcore
That's
for me.
icky.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
And I grew up with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where a
Yes.
rat literally fed turtles pizza every day.
the best.
That didn't gross me out at all.
Oh no, it's not.
But
gross.
just the name Rat Burgers, I was like, nope. I'm out. Yeah, a lot of dry heaving and like, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Icky, no thank you.
Yeah.
I loved the intro to all of the people in the apartment with what was the daughter's name?
Oh
no, what was her name? I'm so bad with names.
Speaking of names, that the family was Harry Potter and Harry Potter Jr.
Yes, that was so
and that he was a
funny.
teenager that wanted to learn magic and stuff. I was like, that's
so
really
funny.
Bizarre.
I was like, I think I know what.
Yeah, at least one of your influences was this movie.
Which it came, that movie, or Harry Potter was written in the 90s.
Yeah.
So this was before that. So she definitely watched this and was like,
There's something there.
Her name is Wendy Ann Potter.
Wendy Ann Potter.
That's the daughter's name.
And I thought she was great when she was playing the troll because you instantly saw the change.
Yeah, and she wore overalls the whole movie.
Yep. That's not easy to do.
And I was like, you have that many pairs? That's amazing. That's good for you. I love that. Even her skirt wears like overall skirts, and I was like, okay.
I didn't notice that.
I was like,
cool.
wow, okay.
That's a lot of commitment to overalls.
The production was like, she needs something that's her, so we know it's her. Ooh, overalls.
That'll be the gimmick. Yeah, we don't want to confuse everyone. No, they're gonna be kids.
They're gonna, we know they're a boy and a girl, but like, we're gonna think Harry Potter Jr., Wendy, they sound the same.
Right? Yeah.
If you cross your eyes, they're both white. They look.
The people that are coming to see this are gonna get confused easily.
I'm confused. So, but yeah, they.
And Harry Potter himself, fucking Atreyu from the Neverending Story.
Yes.
And
terrifying movie.
Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. He was the kid in Battlestar Galactica that had the robot bear puppy thing.
Oh God!
It was a lot cuter than it sounds. It was adorable when I was a kid. Like
it sounds scary.
Hearing myself say it, I was like, that sounds terrifying and awful.
Troll. I'm just picturing everything like at that level of scary. I loved so like with all the intro to all the characters, you have the upstairs neighbor who's like a swinger. He's like, you got all these kids here, I'm gonna fuck people, and if I can't because you're stupid kids.
And that kids are just wandering into that
and
fucking weirdo's apartment.
Like, I love that. Like, I understand that, Wendy is now Torok and a troll.
Sure.
But she the confidence to just walk into
sauntering in.
Hello, I'm in your apartment now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hello, child. Then she starts like bouncing on the couch. And whatever. I'm like,
and he's like, get out of here. I'm trying to get my fuck on. And it's like, what are you doing? What a crazy ass scene. And that's Sonny Bono.
That's wild.
Of Sonny and Cher. It amazes
I knew he looked familiar.
Everyone
I was like, who?
To this day that those two got together.
That's amazing.
I don't know how that happened, but he was also like mayor of Sacramento, and he took on this part.
I love it.
Just for the hell of it, I guess.
Why not? We got some spare time. Why not?
He might not have known they were rolling. They might have just been filming in his apartment complex.
That's true. I mean, I love every swingers pad always is like with like Japanese
weird airbrushed
undertone,
art. Yeah,
Japanese undertones. There's like dragons everywhere.
Yeah, he's wearing a kimono type smoking jacket.
He's not Asian in any way.
Right.
He just has and I'm like, okay, is that like a sign that you're like single and ready to like have sex with a lot of people? I think so. I don't know these things. So I'm like, I don't know.
I bet they let him decorate it himself.
He's like, I got
a lot of stuff in a storage locker that we can put in here.
Sweat it. Yeah. I'll get it for free. Don't even stress.
How many Kama Sutras do you want? Because I've got like 8 of them and an inflatable one. So
whoa. Inflatable.
Just whatever you need. He's got it.
Got it. Oh my God. And the way the troll Torok like takes over people or like turns them into a cuckoo. That's where I was confused. But it was the ring, and he like poked him. And honestly, it was
a ring / syringe type deal.
That
magical,
which with some great green sparkles that were clearly not done in post. No. Clearly were done in the moment.
Yeah.
So everything's practical, obviously. Just the poke and then the terrifyingness of seeing what actually happens too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, did this happen to Wendy? But later we find out that Wendy's actually still alive because they want to make her a princess. And I was like, okay, Torok, she's a child. Stay away.
Simmer down.
Stop. What is with that?
Also, of all the types of royal ascension you could go through, having a troll destroy your apartment and turn everyone into elves is not the way to go.
Yeah,
It's
not the way to go at all. But I loved how Torok was like responding to all of this happening. He's just like,
yeah. Like I said, he was like such a dick about it. He's like, oh, I dig all of this.
but his facial expressions, it's just like that. It's
He was
just
real
like,
creepy.
Like a weird smile the whole time. And I was like, at one point I was like, are you surprised at what's happening? He's like, he's like, oh, look at all the vines. And I'm like,
I was not expecting this, even though I've done this for thousands of years.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what's happening. You shouldn't be surprised at what happens after you poke someone with a ring.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I thought it seemed like they were going for when he poked someone with the ring, it would somehow be their essence.
Yes.
Manifesting in some way. So I was kind of expecting like at first when he poked Sonny Bono, he turned into like a giant cucumber thing, and I was like, is he turning him into a dick? Like a giant dick troll or something?
I was like, what's happening?
Like a bigger version of that little one. And I was like, maybe that's what's happening. And then when he popped open, they were all a bunch of little trolls, but none of them seemed horny at all. They just seemed like happy. And there was a weird musical number halfway through.
And then all the trolls, none of them look alike. I don't know if that's because they just decided, hey, we don't have enough money to make them all look like Torok, so we're gonna have like a weird, but they're all like slimy, so it's like a weird like pig slime troll, and then like a rat thing, and then you're like, okay, this is gross, but they all sing in like different things,
right?
And they'll like it'll be like this lovely, it
was kind of like an upbeat sort of
troll
song.
Troll cantos, I believe, is what the theme is. I only know that because I have a horror, not like a horror, but like a Halloween themed playlist I listen to every Halloween.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I have had Troll on there for a while.
Oh, wow.
So I've listened to that theme. And
so
I'm
you were
like,
singing along while
I
you
knew
were
it, but then they'd be like, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, hey,
Yeah.
Trolls, you're ruining it. They'd be like,
You're-
they're like la, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, hey.
Yeah, like the only one that seemed like pleasant about it was the little mushroom guy, and like
'cause
everyone
apparently
else was just like,
like they was supposed to be the queen. I was very confused about that.
The mushroom?
The mushroom, they're like, oh, it's our queen. She's singing. And I'm like, why? Well, because everyone else was like male and then that mushroom was female. So again, like,
okay.
Those things.
I did not pick up on any of that. I was just like, the mushroom is in on it too.
Yeah, the mushroom's
I
part
was like,
of it.
maybe the mushroom's a spy is what I was thinking.
I was like, oh no, is this woman, because again, I'm like, Troll 2, I'm like, is this woman evil?
Right.
Because she's got, the weird dick mushroom thing, and then she has weird
energy.
horse,
and like an
things
apartment full
on
of
the-
weapons and stuff. And,
those little things, and then she befriends the son. A lot of these kids are befriending adults really quick, and that's
very
wild.
quickly. Very it was clearly a more innocent time when it was made, or at least on the surface anyway. But when she befriends the English professor and he just shows up and I
love that their mom's like, oh, you have a friend coming over, honey. What's his name? Malcolm Mills. Well, I can't wait to meet Malcolm. She walks to the door with a glass of chocolate milk, and he's like, hey. And everyone's like, you're an adult.
You're a grown
You're an adult
person.
And they're also like, oh, you're not only are you an adult, but you are a little person. And like the sheer like.
And you've brought a bottle of wine as big as you are.
Yeah. And the cheers,
like
the milk and the wine. And I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Oh man. And that would.
How can we talk about his troll?
Yes.
For a moment, how his wish was kind of to be a troll, and the troll takes pity on him and makes him one. Mm-hmm. His troll was disturbing as hell because it was basically just him, but slimy and a little bit smaller. Mm-hmm. No one should be a troll if that's the case. If they're just gonna mush you down a little bit and rub slime all over you.
If that's what we get when I become a troll, I think I'd rather die.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
and just move to Detroit if I want that. I don't have, I don't have to have a magical creature do it.
Yeah, I'll just in Detroit.
Yeah, just be someone will mush me down and put slime on me there.
Yeah.
For free.
For free, exactly. I don't need to
yeah.
do it, Torok.
I don't have to tell him my whole sob story to get it done.
You're like, take the day off, Torok. I'll save you some time. I'm gonna go to Detroit. Yeah.
And what about the big, the final boss troll, I guess?
Yes, that was a rat, beaver. No, it was like a rat, bat, dog thing with wings that was slimy and gigantic.
I think that's the official title.
Yes.
Rat, bat, slimy thing with dog feet or something.
And just terrifying. But
yeah.
I like the whole, like I love practical effects and I love like the like monster movies or the creature features.
Sure.
But the ones of the 80s for some reason
are real scary.
They're but not scary, but they're also like gross looking.
Yeah.
Like The Fly or the Invasion of the Body Snatch.
Did you ever see Legend?
No.
With Tom Cruise. And it was like a sword and sorcery type movie. Okay. And Ridley Scott directed it, who did Alien and everything. Yeah. And Tim Curry plays the devil in it. Ooh. And they've got him in like prosthetic.
I've heard about that. Yes.
He has these huge
horns.
Black horns. Yeah. That's pretty scary. But halfway through the movie, Tom Cruise has to talk to a witch to get some information. And the witch like rises out of the swamp. Ooh. And she's totally covered in slime. And I don't think they showed her to Tom Cruise before they filmed the scene. And so as far as his brain was concerned, he was talking to a fucking witch.
Yeah.
Because it was like 9 feet tall and slimy and gross. And at one point is like, you don't intend to eat me, do you? And she goes, oh, indeed I do. And it was like, oh, even watching TV, I was like, no, get out of there, Tom Cruise, get out of there.
Like, you know he's a good actor, but he's not that good of an actor.
Yeah. And it's like you compare that to like any CGI thing where there's a tennis ball and they're telling, like they would be telling you and me, okay, imagine a witch. We're both going to imagine a totally different witch.
Correct.
That we can handle.
Yeah.
When a witch is on set and slime is dripping off and you can smell it and you can see it and it's within arm's reach of you.
It's terrifying, yeah.
Yeah, that's a totally different experience. Yeah. And it comes across in a primal way, I think, when people are watching the movie. They're like, there's some real fear happening there and I should be afraid too, you know?
Oh my God, exactly. That's absolutely terrifying. And, to put such a terrifying thing into a little girl and have her terrorize her brother, who I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I was
he
like,
got thrown around, he got knocked out. He just like,
and he just took it and kind of was like, no, that didn't. I fell
like,
or
no,
whatever.
That's fine. No, Mom. Hey, she can have my juice. That's okay.
She's really thirsty. Whatever's going on in there.
Let her have mine. I'll get my own glass. I'm not even thirsty. I'm gonna go up to the old woman's house and just hang out.
I'm gonna just chill with Angela Lansbury and hope for the best until this is all over.
Which he did, and he ends up. Well, actually, he doesn't
befriending a witch that gave him like the stuff he needed to survive. It was very Joseph Campbell in a way, like hero's journey sort of stuff. He
they gave him like a staff that he had to stab the
final boss, troll
bat thing.
Dog,
and then but he of course loses it, sees his little sister, saves his little sister, but Torok grabs the little pokey thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, the bat dog thing, don't get the little girl. And then he's like, fuck it, I'm going to kill this guy. So he kills his own creation. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
A little redemption arc there that was not expected. And I like that the movie, it wasn't after the credits, but they kind of did an after the credits set up for the sequel thing with the cops coming in and like you see his little ring rise up, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
You're like,
setting up your favorite movie.
It's Troll 2. Which I want to do Troll 2 on here eventually, but I think I want to save it.
Yeah.
I want to save it because first of all, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but I also kind of want to torture somebody to watch it.
Oh,
but like someone who's like a little bit too cool to watch it. And then, just because I think it would be very funny to have them watch
Send in
it.
suggestions.
Send in
Who
suggestions
should
of
be
who you should
tortured by
watch it.
Troll 2?
Because they're like, oh, I'll watch any film. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have said that.
Oh, that was the wrong move. Yeah.
But I also like with their popularity, I want Troll 2 to spike up a little bit because it deserves. I think it's honestly not the worst movie ever made. I think The Room I think The Room is worse.
Yeah.
I think that there's so many more worse
Yeah,
films.
there are a lot of films out there that are at least well in the running for, worst movie of all time.
This one, I like Troll a lot. I thought it was very fun. I didn't know what to expect. I kind of thought I knew it.
Yeah.
Troll and Troll 2 obviously were not the same.
Right.
But I didn't know. I knew there had to be some
How
type of
wildly different
overlap.
yeah.
But I mean, the Troll, because they have Torok is kind of in that film, but not as Torok. It's just like his face is in it as another troll.
They're like, well, let's keep the mask. We don't want to not use it.
Yeah. And then they add other really, really weird ones, which is on brand for, but it's not as, I don't think they're as slimy and gross as Troll.
Right.
In Troll 2.
I do kind of miss, because we don't really have anything like that right now. Because it is a very practical effect thing to do, to have a bunch of little creatures like ghoulies or even to some extent gremlins. Yeah. Critters is a really good example of that, where they're all just a little bit off from each other, but they're practical effects, so they look real enough and they're kind of creepy. But they gave them a lot of personality. Like even each of the trolls in Troll had their own vibe. There was that little creature from the Black Lagoon looking dude, and the one that looked like an angry baby, and the tree when she's turned into a tree, and that was phenomenal.
The pig sticks with me.
Oh yeah,
because I love pigs, but that pig I was like, that shit's ugly.
Yeah,
and slimy.
I think
gross.
that's what a lot of us think of when it's like adopt a pig. I picture that thing, and I'm like, no.
You're like, that's not
not.
That's not it. That's
That's not it.
Again, overall, I think a pretty good movie. Were there any other parts that like stuck out to you that you're like, this is hilarious?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Her
scampering through the woods.
Dancing scene. That was fantastic.
That was really great. And I was like, I'm glad I saw that movie before puberty, because if it had happened afterwards, I would have like worn out a copy of it, because I was like, I had such a thing for her already.
Oh, she's stunning.
And so I was like, I didn't need to know she had a scene of her scampering through the woods naked,
Yeah, which is, again, her first movie.
Good for her, yeah.
For her.
And everyone in it was really fun. Like,
yes.
Let's be honest, not everyone in there was the best actor.
What? No way.
But even the bad actors got like a fun moment.
Yes.
In there. And like, like some of them had great moments. The moment where the tree is like, shut that door.
Door, and the guy's like, honey, there's a tree talking to us. I'd listen to the tree.
Yeah. I was like, that's a really great line. And he delivered it really well,
But they both were like, oh, we have no reaction to this. We're scared and like in fear. We're shocked in fear. And you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
No, I think you're bad actors, but that's okay. I love that. I love that for you guys.
I really dug the mother and daughter playing the older and younger version of that character. So cool. And it really worked. I thought it was a believable, how like sometimes where it's like they cast, Shia LaBeouf is Sean Connery's grandson. Why is that the hardest thing to believe in this movie? That shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't,
but like in this case, it was like, this works. I could see that,
it makes sense. Yeah. I love that. I was like, wait, is this makeup? No, those are two different people.
Yeah.
They look exactly the same. It was impressive.
And they even, for low budget, they did the transformation reveal pretty cool by using her hair as like the way of her transforming and everything. And it seemed like a very witch sort of thing to do, like that her transformation would come from something simple like that.
Yeah,
and there were a lot of little things in there that it was like, I feel like the production people, definitely like the people that did the production art and the people that did the makeup and what have you, were very into that sort of stuff already.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I'm working on this low budget movie, but I'm going to put a lot of my own flair into it and my own love for this sort of stuff into it. And it really helped elevate it, I thought,
Yeah.
you know.
And I also, one of the other neighbors we forgot to mention, me forget something on this podcast? Never. Literally, the last episode, we kept being like, wait, what about this part? We forgot about this. Wait. And I was like, people who are watching this are saints.
Yeah, because they're not just cutting you apart in the comments
like,
and
okay,
stuff.
hey, this is not in order. I'm like, well, that's where you get maybe a little bit of ADHD brain. It's okay.
Right, yeah.
But also remembering it and not taking down every single note that I remember. But the one like army guy.
Yeah.
We meet him in the beginning. He's in a full tracksuit, just jogging in place with a headband, sweaty. And I was like, oh, hello, what's up? What's going on? And then, we find out he's military man, ? But
Sure.
you walk into his apartment and it's just the pool tables and there's a tiger on the wall.
Yeah, it's all like bro before bro was even a thing sort of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's very like I was like, this guy definitely is a Republican. You
oh,
know?
yeah.
Like this guy's definitely
Well, he even said as much at one point.
yeah.
He said something along the lines of, you can't trust the liberals with whatever. And I was like, okay.
fair enough.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
it is the Reagan era that this movie was made
Yeah.
in. And so.
And when Wendy just walked into the apartment and of course she starts running amok right away.
Yeah.
And she turns
She's just doing her own thing in his apartment.
She
Yeah.
turns into Turok, and I love that he's just so freaked out
Yeah.
that this man who's literally been in a war, like, can't figure out how to use
Right.
a weapon of any sort. He jumped over the pool table. I'm like, there are glass bottles everywhere.
Right.
Throw
You have
them.
resources all
Throw
over this
them.
place.
Do something. But then
Yeah.
he grabs the gun, and I was like, yeah, nice. And then shoots the troll, does nothing. Turok takes the gun, like snaps the gun.
Yeah.
And then you just see the man just
crumble
Just
as
crumble.
soon as that happened. I like seeing stuff like, to me, that adds so much to the story.
Yeah.
When you have a character that's like supposed to be like the big warrior type character.
just
And and when they're just out of their depth, they're not the person for this. Like that kind of person by their nature has to feel like I'm the person you call in any situation.
yeah.
And when the situation is just well beyond what they're capable of, that's so fun to see when it's
Yeah.
done right like that,
Awesome. It's just silly.
Because at that time, like you look at it in the time that it was made, the big movies coming out were like Rambo and Commando and stuff like that. And they were all about that guy, you know? And so to have it go just backfire completely. Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah. I really enjoy that sort of stuff,
It's just
even when it's done where they're out of their depth, but they still pull through, like in Aliens or in Predator, where it's like still showing that at least at the start, they are completely outmatched and outgunned, and that it's going to take a lot more than just, to get you through it.
Which is exactly which the little boy manages to.
Who was like not equipped, not wanting to fight anyone.
No, he doesn't want to do anything.
Was really pretty patient and clearly cared for his sister and didn't want her to get hurt in any way, and that's where he was coming from. And it was like, that's the kind of person needed for this particular situation,
And he was smart to, like, honestly, very smart for his age to be like, hey, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
Chill, and then we're going to figure out a plan.
Learn from this person that can help me,
And then figure out a plan to...
And I'll say, she was great. Her scenes were my favorite scenes in there. The witch.
Yes.
Like, she was just so fun to watch. Like, she had such a cool presence. And just this world-weary sort of, like, you could believe that she'd been around forever.
Yeah.
Like she really did seem like she'd seen everything.
Yeah.
And that this was just one of many sort of adventures that she had been on.
She's like, this is an average Tuesday.
Yeah. I was like, I would have been more interested in seeing sequel movies about her than I would about the trolls, like.
Initially, I thought for just a brief moment that she was the woman from Troll 2.
Oh, okay.
But obviously those are two different actresses. But I was like, oh, is this like supposed to be like the same type of woman? And no, that's Troll 2. Very different woman, very different.
I think they could have used that as like a bit of a red herring to, you know, like we know that people think that type is going to be helpful and good.
And she was not. She was not. But I do love that when she turned into her younger self or her true self. I don't know which one.
That's an interesting way. Yeah.
But she comes out of the stairs and there's just wind blowing and she's like, Torak, how about something for old time's sake or whatever? Let's fight for old time's sake.
Yeah.
And like her walking down the stairs is like the most like just tons of wind. They're like, more wind.
Yeah.
Do the wind.
And then at one point she says something like, stop it, like cut it out or something. And the wind just stops.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really funny.
You're like, it's just those little things. And then when, you know, the troll vines are taking over the apartment complex and you can clearly tell it's just the camera doing this. But then my favorite part is when everyone outside, all the background actors are reacting to nothing.
Right.
But they're not reacting to nothing because, of course, this happened in real life. Obviously, vines were lifting out of the building. This was not done in post. This was done in real life. They were reacting to it in real time. But I can just imagine being on set. Okay, now you guys pretend like there are giant vines coming out of this apartment complex, and you're scared. Ready, set, go.
And they're just, I guess.
They're like, oh my god, wow,
real scary.
Ooh.
And it was weird how like the townsfolk, I guess, all were not cheering, but they were all like silently supportive at the end as they're moving away. I was like, why was this moment necessary?
Also, how would you burn the apartment complex? Here's a thought. I think the troll is like
just
like I think they're gonna come back. I think there's like some portal in that specific
nuke
apartment.
it.
I think it's time. I think it's okay.
And even like the practical effects thing, it was kind of mind-boggling at the end with the vines because that seemed like stop motion animation, and it was like, you had done such a good job on all these other effects.
And that one you just
and then
really...
in the finale of the movie, you're like,
this is the
fiddlesticks. Just
like shit. We used all of our money on the rat, dog, beaver thing,
monster,
that thing, right?
That was a bit. I was like, that was just puzzling. I was like, maybe just stop after you kill the big batwing monster. That would be a good place to end it, you know.
Right there. I think it's a nice happy ending and everyone moves on and, you know, they all hug and that's the end of the movie. I think that's okay.
This came out after Ghostbusters. I'm betting that's what happened. I'm betting they were like, it's got to be bigger. It has to be a threat to everybody or it's not going to work. So we'll do this.
And the whole town was like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No military showed up when vines were coming out of the building or anything like that. Just
didn't have the money for it.
Couple of local cops are going to...
And they're like, some crazy people. I didn't see any vines. I'm like, of course the cops are gaslighting everyone. Of course. That's how it goes. I do want to say, I like, as we were talking, I just realized that there are a lot of movies about people moving into houses, like a family moving into houses.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a lot of families moving into apartments. And I think that's kind of cool because, you know, it's usually like you see like, you know, a single mom moving into an apartment or you see like, you don't see like just like a family just moving into an apartment. So I also think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's never a nuclear family. It's always like if they move into an apartment, it's because there was a split.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, there's like a single woman or a single man or whatever. They're like moving in by the
And it also is usually somehow contained in that apartment. It's not the whole complex's problem like it was in this movie.
So that's
you know,
really interesting how they managed to pull that in, you know, regardless of
the extent of the effects.
The overall rating of the film, I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. And it added a lot of layers to the story and made it truly seem like the troll was more powerful, that he could just take over all these different apartment complexes, not apartment complexes, apartments.
Apartments, yeah.
And make them each their own little world. And they did, even though it was like mostly vines and shit, they did each kind of seem like they had a uniqueness to them too, you know? So, yeah.
So out of 10, what do you think?
Of all, I'm just going to go off a horror movie.
Or you could also just like, I usually go, because everyone's like, oh, out of 10, like, you know, I always do like pizza style, like it's either really good or really bad. It's either like 1 or a 10. And I'm like, well, you know, after you watch a movie, whatever number comes up first, that is the correct number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The correct number for me of all movies, going against all movies ever made, is 4.
Wow, that's actually pretty high.
It's surprisingly high for me. And it mostly because of the stuff that I mentioned, that I felt like everyone involved in this movie knew they were making a B movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I would say most of the people involved tried to push it up as much as they could.
Yeah.
And that counts a lot to me. Plus practical effects. I just really love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a fun movie too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when you do a show like this where you're talking about a certain thing and you have kind of like homework to do before the show, you're kind of like, Yeah. And as soon as I watched the trailer for it again, I was like, oh, I'm psyched to see this movie again. And I had a great time watching it. So
good.
yeah.
Yay,
you know.
that's good.
How about you?
I give it a 3.
Okay.
And honestly, that's pretty good for my scale is I feel like I've only given maybe one film a 10.
What was that?
Probably Scream. And
okay.
I think that's a perfect movie. But I think I've given a couple like I might even give it like a 9.5. But I feel like I'm pretty.
So Scream is like a 9.5.
I feel like I haven't seen a 10. I don't know.
Okay. Wow.
Like even Scream, like watching it now, I think it's gone down.
Okay.
You know, for me, but like I still like love it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's still like a 9.
Sometimes, you can watch a movie out too, and like you love it, but then like, oh, I've seen it so many times.
But I think 3 is perfect for this movie.
That seems good.
I've seen worse movies. I think I've given. You know what? I think I gave Troll 2 a 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
Just to give it a 10, just to really bump it up.
To teach everyone a lesson.
To bump it up. Yeah. I think it's holding like a 3 point something on IMDb.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. But Troll is. I thought it was really fun, terrifying in ways that I watched it with my roommate, and she was like half paying attention. She's like, "What is going on?" I'm like, I'm the one watching it. And I don't really know. I just know it's terrifying. And watching Turok do his little smile.
Yeah, it's creepy. You know who he reminded me of? Hoggle.
Okay.
From why am I forgetting? Labyrinth.
Okay. Yeah.
He was like Hoggle's dickish brother is my guess.
Yeah.
They were very, very similar.
I see it.
It might be the same actor. I don't know for sure, but
I don't think it is, because we were trying to figure out, because as soon as the
credits,
the professor Malcolm Mills, I think his name in the movie. As soon as he came up on stage, both my roommate were on screen. It's a theatrical performance.
I would love it if that was a Troll the Live musical.
I would love that. Oh my god! Honestly, I think Troll 2 would be a better musical.
Yeah, probably.
It's a lot more iconic. I can't spoil it. I can't spoil it on this podcast. Not yet, at least. Gotta save it. For that special somebody.
Right. Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
As soon as he showed up,
we're like, what is he from? He's from something.
Yeah.
And we just kept, we went through his IMDb, we're like, nope, not that. We couldn't figure out.
He was in Willow, right?
Willow. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but it's like he was in, I think he was in Harry Potter. No, yeah, I think he was in Harry Potter.
I think so, yeah.
So, but just stuff like, he was in Harry Potter with Harry Potter.
He was doing Harry Potter before it was cool.
But, it's like, I know you from somewhere, but I can't place it, and none of the things you're telling me is correct, but I know I've seen you someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, that was fun to see.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mike, for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's been a delight.
It's been a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do this show for a long time, so I was glad I got on before it metamorphosizes into whatever stronger, crazier, more powerful creature it becomes.
It's gonna be a wild ride wherever we go, wherever we are. But I thank you so much for being here. You can now. This is where you plug all your things. We just have the middle camera because John had to take a call, so we've just been running.
Mr. Hollywood.
We've been running just by ourselves.
You can see me at the Comedy Store most of the time. My Instagram has a lot of stuff. I have a lot of super deep nerdy. So if you like action figures or comic books or humor about any of that sort of stuff, check out my Instagram. It's Mike Black is Back. That's the easiest way to find me and find different live shows that I'm doing or podcasts that I'm on or stuff like that. So that's probably the best bet. Or just if you see me around town, just tackle me.
That too. Mike is the best. And I thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Of course. And you know who else is the best? Our sponsor, Filmcraft LA. You can follow them on Instagram at Filmcraft LA, and you can find them on filmcraftla.com. And you guys, if you move into an apartment complex and you go to do laundry and you start hearing like little giggles, and then you see a man who is not a man, it's actually a troll, I'd move. I'd move right away. I would leave. I'd go.
It's good advice, even if it is a man.
Yeah, if it is a man.
If there's a man giggling in the laundry room, it's time to move.
Man, woman, non-bi, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you go into the laundry room and you see someone laughing and you can't see them, run. Thanks, guys.
Shut that damn door!